There are concerns about Turkey. Turkey has become the story of the day. The financial health there and the nation's growing rift with the United States over a number of different things that we'll be talking about. But there's the president on Twitter saying that he authorized doubling steel and aluminum tariffs against Turkey. Turkey's trade ministry, though, now just firing back in the last few minutes, saying that extra tariffs are against World Trade Organization rules. So there you have it. That's where we are. We'll try to put it in some context, as I said earlier, give it some size and scope as we continue. With Market Watchers Gabe Hoffman joining us, Gary V. Smith, Fox Business's Kristina Partsinevelos, Weekly Standard's Deputy Managing Editor, Kelly Jane Torrance. So welcome all. Kelly, let me start with you actually on this. As I said, size and scope is important when you get a story like this. And you know, this is political at its core. I mean, Turkey has been holding this American pastor for the last couple of years. We thought maybe there was a deal getting close where this person would be let go. That did not happen. So Turkey still has a chance to get out of this in some ways. I guess the idea is whether they will take that chance or what happens next. What's your read on what's happening today?
Yeah, this is a very interesting story, Connell, because it's where something political turns economic. I mean, one of the reasons the Turkish lira has been spiraling downward is because people are worried about what the United States is going to do because they haven't reached a deal. Now, of course, they thought they had reached a deal. You know, Israel released a Turkish woman who was accused of funding Hamas, and that was supposed to be the deal. They release her. Turkey releases Pastor Brunson. That did not happen. And I have to say, I don't think Turkey is wanting to make a deal. I mean, just last night, the Turkish Prime Minister Erdogan met with the chief of staff for Iran's Hassan Rouhani. And Erdogan stated he's going to do everything he can to help Iran, and they still plan to buy Iranian oil. Now, of course, U.S. sanctions just kicked in. More are going to kick in on the oil in November. So I think Turkey is trying to send a message here that, you know what, we're going against you, United States. We're not going to make a deal.
President Trump's trying to send a message of his own with that tweet and these new tariffs, Kristina, that he says he's putting in place. And to Kelly's point, it becomes a economic story, even if it started as a political one. And then we wonder, you know, kind of what the fallout will be from this. We've seen this before in other situations where currency stories, and that's really what today is, right, Kristina, become something more than they appear to be on the surface. But what's your read on what we're seeing in Turkey?
Well, yes, it is a currency story. We saw this with Greece when the currency plummeted there. It affected markets back in 2015. Same thing when there was a depreciation of the Chinese currency. Right now, what's happening in Turkey is a bigger story. You have Erdogan that's not taking any steps to improve the economy. You have inflation at 15.8%. He has a hold on the central bank in Europe. They're not in Turkey. They're not increasing interest rates. In May, he was in London and actually said if you increase interest rates, that's going to create more inflation. So he's not doing enough to try to improve his economy. This is even before any type of political tension between the United States and Turkey. How does this affect the markets? One, you have thin trading right now. It's Friday, so that's creating a lot of movement. But you do have exposure. Certain banks in Italy, France, Spain having the hardest, most exposure to Turkey, and that's being reflected in the financial sector right now. But the European Central Bank told the Financial Times that right now they're not viewing it as critical just yet.
And I don't think, Gary, that by the numbers they should, right? I mean, as Kristina points out, there are some European banks that are exposed to all this. We understand that. But, you know, in terms of just looking at the size, say, of Turkey's economy versus certainly our own, but even some of these economies in Europe, it shouldn't be on the surface a big deal. Sometimes that doesn't matter. Sometimes things spiral and become big deals. But what do you think about what we're seeing today, Gary?
Totally agree. I think if the market, if you are of the premise that the market sell-off is because of the crisis, if you will, in Turkey, this is definitely a buying opportunity.
Yeah.
Should Trump be playing this card? I guess there's many different ways about diplomacy. You got to forget their imports of steel and aluminum are small to us as a percentage, but they're pretty big with Turkey. I didn't realize Turkey is like the 9th largest exporter of steel. We're 13% of their volume in steel alone. So is Trump playing the right card? I don't know. It's a strong card, though, and we've seen with other countries, like Iraq, Iran, when we've used economic sanctions, the countries all say, oh, we're going to be tough, we're going to last. but they really don't. They
in this
capitulate
case,
at
it's
some
really
point.
using tariffs as a weapon as opposed to just straight up sanctions. I'm going to go to trade because we have some new developments on that front. Gabe, just a quick thought, though, on Turkey before I switch gears to some news that's coming in on NAFTA. How important do you see this in terms of global markets?
Well, sure. Turkey is a relatively small country, and a lot of these issues have been known for some time. Tariffs can be and probably will be a temporary negotiating tool. The real question for U.S. investors is the extent of the currency move has been greater than expected, given these issues. What does that tell us? The U.S. short-term interest rates are the global standard for risk-free rates around the world. In my view, the greater than expected currency fluctuation tells us that the global markets are betting that U.S. short-term rates will rise more than expected.
Okay, that's interesting because we started to get into that discussion last hour. John Lonsky thought maybe they wouldn't go up as much.